Thank you so much for inviting me to this exciting event. It's just so great to know about this initiative. It's so great for all of you to come out here. After I graduated college, I got a job as an organizer for the United Farm Workers Union. And I hadn't studied much Spanish, but I learned it from El Pueblo, from los campesinos. And then I became a Spanish bilingual teacher aide and a Spanish bilingual math teacher in San Francisco Unified. I eventually got my PhD in second language acquisition, and I started to do research on technology and language learning, technology and literacy, and technology and learning more broadly. But having that background has been really vital to all the work I do, and I'm so pleased to see this initiative here. So today I'm going to talk about the way that a digital storytelling project that we're involved in works with students to bridge their language, cultures, generations, and communities. The project is based on a three-way partnership between Digicom, which is a nonprofit that was founded by David Vogel. Oh, and I also wanted to thank and recognize Viet Vu, a postdoctoral scholar working with me, who's an author of this, who couldn't come today. But Digicom was founded by David Vogel, who's a former director of motion picture studios at Disneyland. David said he was going to try to come today. Are you here, David? No. And also with Palm Springs Unified School District, which is about an hour east from here in the Coachella Valley, where a large percentage of the students are Latinos, children of immigrants, often children of migrant farm workers. So Palm Springs teachers attend a series of one-week workshops held by Digicom, where they learn digital filmmaking skills and how to integrate digital storytelling into education. And Digicom also holds several annual film festivals for students and teachers. UCI has been involved for a couple of years in collaborative research partnership. A lot of this work that we're doing on this is very new, so we appreciate all your ideas and suggestions about how to carry it forward. So our thinking about this is motivated a lot by the work of bilingual education researcher Jim Cummins, who talks about the idea of identity texts. He calls digital stories in which students showcase their life experience identity texts, which can be written, spoken, visual, musical, dramatic, or combinations in a multimedia form. And Cummins and others emphasize how drawing on students' home language and cultural resources creates both maximum identity investment and maximum cognitive engagement, both of which heighten students' attention to the ways in which both English and their home language are used to generate new knowledge, create literature and art, and act on social realities. So with pedagogy that explicitly challenges students to produce digital stories that we can call identity texts, we would argue that these digital stories become spaces where students can bridge language, cultures, generations, and communities. To illustrate this, I'm going to show you two brief examples of student identity texts or digital stories. The first video introduces the experiences of a young man's grandfather as a bracero, and the second video is a digital poem written and spoken by a student to his mother. I'll go ahead and show this here.
It all started in 1942 and 1964 when 4.8 million Mexican immigrants came to America as first legal guest workers. This was caused by the issue of World War II that the United States needed laborers to do the field for them, so they hired braceros, which in English is translated strong arms.
Me llamo Daniel Madrigal Vázquez. Soy bracero en 1964. Me enlisté una lista, me mandaron a Empalme, Sonora. De allí me contraté y me mandaron a Caléxico. En Caléxico nos fumigaron y de allí nos pasaron al centro, California.
Trabajamos, fuimos humillados allí, y tuvimos mucha discriminación.
Ese dinero nos lo habían de ver dado nosotros, porque nosotros somos los que trabajamos, no el gobierno, no el gobierno. Por eso estuvo mal que el gobierno de allá le haya entregado el dinero al gobierno de aquí.
Until this day, the braceros have been gathering in groups. Until this day, you will find them fighting for the money. No matter if it takes time or lives, they will keep on fighting until the government hears them. This is the bracero movement that started in 1942 and it ended in 1964.
So as you can see in this video, the student chooses to first tell the story in English and then allows the words of his grandfather and other braceros to complete the story. Through subtitles, the student allows English-speaking audience members to engage in the story of braceros, which is a very salient topic in the Coachella Valley with its large Latino population. Here's another 1-minute video.
My mom is the best mom in the world. Here is a poem I wrote for her. She is the rose in my garden. She is the old tree where we play hide and seek. Ella es la rosa en mi jardín. Ella es el viejo árbol donde jugamos a las escondidas. Ella es la película que yo escogí. Ella es mi libro favorito de la biblioteca. Ella es mi computadora en mi habitación. Ella es la luz de mi oscuridad. Ella es la que me levanta cuando estoy triste. Ella es mi mamá.
That's lovely, isn't it? The student in this video expresses his love for his mother through a reading of a poem that is written in English and Spanish. We see that he integrates his mother's pictures and her life story, and he makes connections between his mother's love and his daily experiences. Through these videos, we see several ways that students are bridging languages, cultures, generations, and communities. They braided multilingual and multimodal material and leveraged cultural and community knowledge and incorporated out-of-school interests. More importantly, by creating these digital stories, students demonstrate a high level of linguistic competence. We see that they understand that language can be used as aesthetic advice to frame a narrative. This is evidence in both videos where English was first spoken, then followed by Spanish. Although the use of English and Spanish served other rhetorical and linguistic purposes, the students' transition from English to Spanish changed the tone and tenor of the stories, thereby creating two separate stories that spoke to different audiences, but in a combined way. In both videos, the students first speak to their classmates and their teachers in English. In the case of the Best Mother Ever video, the boy transitions to Spanish and speaks directly to his mother and describes his love for her through analogies. The English-speaking audience members are not included in this conversation since there is no English translation. In Mi Abuelo Fue Bracero, the young man doesn't speak directly to his subject as the young boy did in the other video. Instead, he allows his grandfather and other subjects of the video to speak for themselves, thereby giving them a voice to tell their story of injustice. In both videos, the use of language also serves as a demonstration of their pride in their cultural heritage. Overall, the creation of these digital stories afforded students the opportunity to develop a higher level of linguistic competence. Yet students don't only make bridges during the digital stories themselves, but in the whole process. They engage in these bridging activities as they conduct research, as they interview participants, and interact in the local community, as they share their ideas with their classmates, as they refine their digital stories, and finally, when they showcase their digital stories either online or at school district-sponsored film festivals. I traveled to one of these film festivals last year. They have a huge one every May. They have a couple ones now, one for elementary school students, one for high school students. If any of you want to have just an amazing experience, check out the Digicom website, and probably April or May, they're going to have the next one. But to see hundreds of family members themselves, fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, neighbors, community members, come and see this work displayed in film and see their own lives validated that way, it gives them a whole different appreciation of issues of language, culture, media, school, and has a very huge impact on kids' own sense of identity and pride. So in summary, digital stories and identity texts provide a space for ideal bridging activities for multilingual development. The affordances of multimodality give students opportunities to use both their home language and English beyond simple communication in culturally and socially powerful ways. As I said, we're just getting started in this work, so I would appreciate any comments and suggestions and ideas you have for future research. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you. My name is Ann Cheney, and I'm here at UC Riverside. I do work in the Eastern Coachella Valley, and in that area, it's predominantly the student population is 98% Latino, and most of their parents work in the farms or in agriculture. So I'm wondering, why did you select POM Unified instead of the? Well, I guess I'll just start there.
So the history of this is, I mentioned there's a guy named David Vogel, who was very prominent in Disney. Then he retired to Palm Springs, and he started this work in Palm Springs, which is, I mean, our stereotype of Palm Springs is kind of, you know, the richer Palm Springs area, but the school district is pretty spread out, and the majority of the students in the school district are low-income Hispanics. So then, though Palm Springs Unified contacted us and asked us to partner with them in doing research there. Now, Digicom is working now on extending to other school districts in the Valley. So any schools or school districts that are interested in getting involved in this work should just contact them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. I was thinking about the actual means of production. Do they record themselves? Do they go to some place to be recorded?
They do it themselves. They do it mostly with iPads or iPhones and iMovie, and they do all the production themselves.
That's great.
Yeah.